Hello, 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 hello from this side of the world. Hello, hello, or hello, as my own people would say. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is another wonderful edition of The Bar. And my name is Alajelkwa. You know, the one and only Alajelkwa. Maybe I should even add something. You know, the one and only Alajelkwa with the red hair. Oh my God. I should add that to it. Don't you think? Don't you think? What do you think?
What should
Alajelkwa with the red hair.
What should Portable do?
That's his business. So I'm not Portable.
None of you people
Oladelupo with the red hair. Oh my God.
Can hold the candle to Portable.
I should make a t-shirt. Oladelupo with the Oladelupo with the red hair. Oh my God. Or the redhead Oladelupo. Oh my God. Anyway.
Which is definitely no way. And sorry, let me apologize for Dolubo's shenanigans. This is the Boom Bar on your Boom Radio NG. Red hair is beautiful, but shenanigans are not. And what is the Boom Bar? It's about pissing this one off while analyzing music, sports, politics, and everything in between. And thank God the elections are over in Nigeria.
Not completely over. Most of it is over. Most of it.
But sadly, the toxic environment is not dissipated. It's not gone away.
I think it's actually reducing. I think it is reducing.
That's what she said.
Yes.
Anyways, so that's what we do. You see here, we're not just only not going to talk about music, sports, politics, and everything. We also prefer solutions. We speak the minds of the people from different perspectives. We bring angles to it that you're like, angle. See, I did not say angle. I said angle. So, just in case.
I bring angles to it. I don't know angle.
Angle, like
I don't know.
Like angle. You know. So that's what it is. So a lot of stuff is going down in and around us. We are concerned about the things that are happening in and around us, and we want you to be a part of it. So you can also always shoot us a mail at Boom Radio NG. You know, that's Boom Radio NG on Gmail. Send us DMs on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Boom Radio NG or Boom Radio on Facebook. Without further ado, there's a lot that's going down.
So
Wally Shrinker's interview is not going away. There's more.
There is more.
Apparently, he's had to talk to another media house. They want him to clarify, and trust me.
Now he's going.
Kongi did not hold back.
Definitely.
He didn't hold back. There's more. He's not one of those people that you can actually.
After he said something, you know, it just said it like subliminally, you know, gisting people and everything, and then asked him right there, and he would come back and tell you, okay, this is who I was referring to.
Yeah, that's what it is. So we need to talk about those things.
Yeah, those things have to be talked about. There are a few announcements from the federal government that we're going to be talking about, and the Peter Obi audio. It doesn't look like that conversation is going out anytime soon.
The Yes Daddy audio.
Yeah, you just had to do that. Anyway, it's obvious that video is not going anywhere anytime soon because there are a lot of allegations flying back and forth. I know that Peter Obi himself had come out to put out a statement. Was he yesterday? I'm guessing it was a reaction to that video.
He didn't address. He has not addressed that video.
But he was. His statement was talking about how he has never really campaigned.
That's in response to what the federal government said. Okay. There's a federal government allegation of treasonable comments coming from federal government are alleging that Peter Obi and his running mate have made treasonable comments, and also they have been demarketing. You understand the Nigerian state. And of course, Peter Obi had a lot to say about that.
He had a lot to say, but he has actually never come up. Anyway, So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. There are a few, interesting stats that we're going to be talking about. Elon Musk is in the, we're talking about him yesterday. Only if he knew. Anyway, call me bad belle, whatever anybody likes you should say. I'm just saying what I. There are a few sports that stories we're going to be talking about, and also a few entertainment stories that will latch on right now. So I think we should just get back, relax, and then have your drink, and then let's just get head right into it. Now, this very interesting one is starting from the NCC. This is the Nigerian Communications Commission, where they have come to refute allegations of tracking and leaking telephone calls. According to them, they say that they do not track calls, neither do they listen in on calls or record phone calls and all that. And I'm like, aren't those things like supposed to be for the what's it called now? For the networks? Because I was going to say, where do they want to find data to actually record everybody's call? I know that data of who you call and what calls you receive and all that, those things are actually like retrievable, and those things also deal with the service providers. Last I checked, so when I like, I know that yes, everybody's answering. The government agencies are answerable to people, so obviously they don't have a choice but to answer people when these allegations come up. I'm just wondering why they needed to.
So if you're wondering where this came from, I can tell you for free that it actually came from the the people who were trying to spin or respond to the video that was released by People's Gazette. It's not a video; it's more of an audio that had allegedly the voice of Peter Obi and the leader. I don't know if he goes by General Overseer also.
I think so.
Of the Living Faith Church, that's the Winners Chapel, Bishop Davido, and it was released by the People's Gazette, and of course there were different reactions. We already analyzed that on this platform. Now, one of the things that happened was that a Twitter user, we can actually go dig out the guy's handle, came up with the allegation that apparently, according to him, that the president-elect, the APC presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, had paid the NCC $20 million. Now, this is what this person said. I am saying it over and over again, that this person claims. And when I first saw that tweet, I laughed. I'm like, oh my God, like, would he really have to bribe the NCC? Does the NCC... $20
million is a lot of money.
Does the NCC have access to, your phones?
That was where I was trying to come from. Like,
they don't own the platform that you use to make your calls. Your calls emanate from your phones to the mast to the next phone you get through a back.
So I would have said that it should have been more of
I thought it was gonna go away, like, oh yeah, but guess what, they started publishing it now. Opera News, it's a platform that allows people to publish stories, and I think people started quoting a particular website that published that thing on Opera News, and it's seen as credible, so they started carrying it. And I said, we're playing politics with these things, but in reality, is it actually possible for
that's what I'm
the
like, okay,
NCC?
really?
Not like the NCC can't, or people who work there can't be bribed. They're human, but do they have access to our phones? You get, and
because the honest truth is that if they do, it's a government agency. It's actually scary when we really, 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 really look at it in depth. It is actually scary if that's what it's supposed to be.
So that's the genesis of that thing, and before you know it, it's gone on like wildfire. I was going through a couple of tweets and I was reading people, and some guy was like, "Oh, can you substantiate this?" And another person responded to him that it doesn't matter if it's true or not, that it's propaganda and this is how propaganda works. And I'm like, wow, you know. But
okay,
in playing politics and everything that we're doing, my prayer, my hope, my wish is that we realize that we have a country. And it's dangerous to always put out this rhetoric because anything can happen. If we continue to fan the embers of discord and all of that, I hope we will not push ourselves, not even on the precipice now, but, down into the abyss of, confusion. And of course, anything that comes after it.
We should go for it. The honest truth is that, like he said, I think that there's some things that I don't think that should be entertained. Why was because when I saw it, my first reaction was, how possible is this thing? Yeah. So at the end of the day, basically, because it is scary if the government is listening in on every single conversation. It is actually scary. So I think that we should.
So again, the fact check people should get to work and really come up with some.
How possible some of these things are.
Is it possible for the NCC, which is just a regulatory body, right, to have access to your phone conversations?
Okay. I'm talking about phone conversation. I was talking about stuff and what people have been saying and what needs to be said. What you had said earlier, I think it's best time to actually chip it in.
I'm actually going to quote the first person that I saw tweet this thing. I found it's at D Eferode. At D Eferode. That's the guy's handle. He tweeted this on the 2nd of April at 6:35 p.m. And he had pictures of the NCC lead chairman and Bola Tinubu of the APC, and he said $20 million bribe paid to NCC and others from Tinubu to track Peter Obi's phone. Calls have been exposed. The man is a desperado. God will always expose their evil plans and push them into oblivion. Now, the thing is that, do you really need to spend that much to track someone's phone? There are cheaper ways if you need to track people's phones. Now,
even if you want to track people's
there are apps that actually do it.
Yeah, the honest truth, you've seen people even clone other people's phones without spending that amount of money. Now, what he said there, I also think that
at D Eferode, that's the guy's handle.
We need to also be careful of, or we're moving from a conversation. Let's even assume that a phone was cloned, which interestingly nobody's saying that it was, but let's even assume it was cloned. That was how that audio, because now the conversation is moving from whether the audio is fake or not to, because for you to say that someone's phone was cloned, then you're saying that that conversation emanated from that person's phone,
that it actually happened.
Then you are validating that audio. Now, whether your phone was cloned or not, are there some conversations we should be having at all? Let's be honest with ourselves. Except you're going to say that that audio was a fake, then you won't have an issue of, then there won't be a conversation of if a phone was cloned or not. But if you claim that the phone was cloned, then you are saying that that audio is real and it emanated from a particular person's phone. So, is it about someone being desperate trying to hear the audio, or the fact that, take for example now, you say you want to clone my phone now, and you are looking for, there's some things that no matter the amount of cloning, you won't hear it. You will not hear it because it's not who you are. So at times, in trying to spin things, if we're not careful, I think that we end up, what's the word now? Admitting we end up admitting to wrongdoings, all in the name of trying to spin it to say, okay, this person, try to make the other person look bad. Is we try to admit is some form of admittance of wrong that we try to do. So let's be thinking deep before we,
Well, again, just like someone had said, that it's propaganda, and this is what some people are going to leave off. I'm just going to appeal to people to beg them and say, regardless of anything that you feel, put nation first, and let us follow through on the proper channels of getting our grievances, sorted out.
Yeah. And talking about grievances, of course, the interviews, several interviews of Nobel laureate Wale Soyinka has now actually surfaced. The one that surfaced a few days ago, where he had an interview with Channels TV, where he was implying about the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party and the statements he made, and I think in one or two occasions. Now, he actually now had another interview with Arise TV where he did not even imply anymore. He just went straight up, where he was saying categorically that there are things that should not be said, that there are things that are more fascists, there are things that call for unrest, and it's something that we've been saying here a lot, and it's something I know for a fact that we believe a lot. You cannot, I'm not saying that judges are biased. Take, for example, I'm not saying judges are biased. I'm just saying that your party did not believe that they lost an election, which is well within your rights. That same party went to court and petitioned INEC and the ruling party, which is definitely well within your rights. It was published. In fact, it was published when the summons were actually, when the APC was officially served. All that and all that. Now, after all that is done, then you now come out to say that the election was flawed, INEC did this and did that, the person that won the elections according to INEC must not be sworn in, that you don't even believe in the judiciary. So my first question is, why did your party go to court
in the first place?
The judiciary hears this thing. They're human beings as well. Not saying that they're going to be biased, but I feel that you have already put yourself in a worse place, because it means that, and that's what, if you watch the interview with Professor Wale Soyinka, he's saying that the question they asked Dati Ahmed was that if the court comes out and they say that, and the judgment does not come out in your favor, then he's saying categorically that if it's either in his favor, is either his own way or the highway. And it's the same way, if you have that same mentality when you go into a contest, it's the same mentality you should also have when you go to court.
Yeah, and so that's why Professor Wale Soyinka kept on referring to the concept of fascism, where you must take a person's way or the highway, like Dolupo insinuated. So again, going back to the old thing, if you're really sure about something, like for me, I've always said it, that rather than argue or fight, I would rather use the courts. Today, I'm saying it. The rumors of the People's Gazette reporter being suspended or something, or sacked or whatever. Yeah, I haven't confirmed that, but there's that. Yeah. So I'm saying that this is a good time for the Labour Party to actually sue People's Gazette and the reporter. That this audio is causing us a lot of grief, and we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it from you guys, and we're going to sue you for everything you own.
Mm-hmm.
It saves us a lot of, negativity, a lot of toxic, vibe that is being pushed around, because Nigeria needs to heal. We've been through the most acrimonious electioneering campaign in my entire couple of decades as a Nigerian. I'm not going to reveal my age on air, but at least over 3 decades or 4 or 5, whatever it is. What I'm trying to say in essence is that this is the most acrimonious electioneering period I have experienced in my whole life, and anything that it takes to bring us back to where we used to be, and even better. We're at the point where we are digging up a lot of religious and tribal sentiments. Don't sugarcoat. We're not in a good place, but we can get better if we all agree, to face the problems. So if this audio is one of the problems that we have, collectively, let us deal with the source of this problem. And I'm not going to lie, regardless of how squeaky clean you think you are, nobody is. How is it okay for anybody to record anybody's conversation?
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. Yeah, we're past that.
I know. I'm just angry. I'm just angry. It's not fair. Look, even if Peter Obi
the honest truth is,
even if Peter Obi said some things that were wrong,
it's wrong on all levels too.
Nobody should be tapping anybody's phones. That's the truth. But moving on.
Anyway, moving on to the issue, Wole Soyinka's interview, what he said.
Yeah, and again, the reporter on Arise TV, asked Professor Wole Soyinka, and she was very specific. She said, "What part of the dirty interview is wrong?" Abi, the man said every single word that was spoken. I'm paraphrasing. Please, I'm not quoting. I am paraphrasing. Because in fairness to him also, he has been misquoted a lot. Because nobody's talking about how he said he feels that Bola Tinubu and Atiku should not even contest.
Should not have contested, yeah.
They should allow a younger person. Nobody's talking about how he said that they had all been yearning for a strong third force, and that he comes through, under the auspices of Peter Obi, and he feels that it's becoming a fascist movement because that he said 3 messages, or he told Peter Obi at 3 different occasions or 3 different times how if he lost it would be because of his supporters and his spokespeople. Just like the NSAS movement that had a groundswell of support, and the Peter Obi movement, there are times when as a analyst and as a PR person, I wish I could walk with these people and say, okay, at this point, tone this down. Focus on the goal. Because at times, people just go all out, forgetting that you don't have to.
You don't have to, yeah.
At times, you would even offend the people that you need. It's the truth. So when it comes out to bite you in the behind, you're like, oh, you cry blue murder, but you could have played the game a different way. So that's what Professor Wole.
Yeah, I think that for a vice presidential candidate, it was very unnecessary. Why contest if you don't believe in the system? If you're going on so much about the Constitution, let's go back to the Constitution.
And again,
whether we like it or not, whether it was, we've seen courts upturn INEC's announcements, but the honest truth is that as at the point of announcement, is whoever INEC announces at that point is who have won. Then people have now gone to court to now say, okay, this, and then they will come out and say, okay, INEC did not do this one properly, and it has happened before. Maybe not at the presidential level. which even the PTOB has enjoyed it twice. So why do they suddenly not believe in the judiciary anymore?
So I'm going to take a couple of reactions to Professor Wole Soyinka's recent interview on Arise TV, not just the Channels TV one, or you can bundle them together. These are top Peter Obi supporters on Twitter. I stand to be corrected, but they are. Ajibusu Onye Impiawa Azu, but his Twitter handle is at Afam Deluxo. He said, Wole Soyinka is doing a brief for BAT, that's Bola Tinubu, and hiding under the cloak of the solemnity of the Supreme Court. He was nowhere to be found when BAT was screaming Emilokon. GRV was bullied. MC Oluomo threatened Indigbo. ETC is crawling out now to dictate how a victim reacts with a question mark. Respectfully, shut up. I read a tweet from a top Peter Obi supporter.
Having a bit of respect,
there's a guy who calls himself Sports Doctor, Sports_Doctor 2, and he says, when you remember how vocal Wole Soyinka was under former President Goodluck Jonathan, and how he has remained mute all these while, only to react now to Baba Dati's statements, you will just shake your head agbadoriously. And another one, Tutsi22, said Wole Soyinka is using grey hair to chop agbado. Ellipsis. ... It was quiet during the Rogbodinho election violence. And one Professor Nobel Prize winner is Sonu. This and so many things are what this group of people have said. There's an Oguntoye Opeyemi that says, if Professor Soyinka can be this angry and perplexed with utterances of Dati Ahmed, and if you're still supporting the Obi train, you need to check yourself ASAP. Now, I picked only one tweet from the Bola Tinubu side, and I picked 4 or 5 from because that's how it was just popping up on Twitter. What I'm trying to say in essence is that people are actually voicing their dissent and their opinions about everything you get. And none of them seem to be saying that what he has said about Dati is wrong. They're just angry that they feel.
That's what I'm saying. So it's okay for what? Is it okay that what Dati said is right? Because I honestly don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Like, when do we even begin? Can we be objective? I think at times objectivity is one of our issues. We actually need to be objective. Because we like someone does not mean that what the person, because we're human beings, we will all make mistakes at some point. You like someone and you're like, okay, cool, this time you messed up. Let's learn from our mistakes and move on. But if we continue like this, I don't know where we're going to. I don't know where we're leading. Anyway, let's move on from that. We spent quite some time on that. As now for public holiday people, federal government has now declared Friday and Monday public holiday for Easter.
All right, and what it needs is that Christian faithful and even everybody else will get 2 days off, regular work, which is Friday this week and Monday next week. Gives you a long weekend and ability for you to do that usual end of week travel with 2 days extra.
Yeah. Now, coming off from that, there is a story I wanted to talk about. Yeah. So we established that there's public holidays. Now, traditionalists have now come out to say that when do they start getting holidays and like public holidays and national recognition from the federal government?
The truth is, and okay, let me say, my opinion is that Nigeria is positioned and perceived as a non-secular state. That's what they say. They say Nigeria is not a Christian state or a Muslim state or a traditionalist state. But on the Nigerian currency, we have Islamic inscriptions. I am not against those inscriptions. I'm just saying that they are Islamic inscriptions. In planning the year in Nigeria, the top holidays are religious based. Christmas.
And they're like, there's sacrosanct, they're there.
Christmas.
You know, there's Christmas, there's
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak, there's
Eid Malud, there's Easter.
Yeah.
And all of that. So, what it is that we claim that our country is secular.
Which we're not, obviously.
It's secular. We're secular. But we have holidays that celebrate religious weekends and days. Is it out of place for traditionalists to ask? No, it's not.
I don't think it is.
We need to be fair to all. But how do they achieve what they want? They can agitate for it. They can push for it. But again, they need to sponsor bills.
Yeah.
We need to be in a place where we're talking about Nigeria's secular, status with all sense of sincerity. Just like during the elections, we centered, and all the parties will lie. They will tell you a lie. But look at it. Take Omoyele Sowore, for instance. I don't know what religion he practices, but at least he picked a vice president from the north.
Yeah.
Take Kwankwaso, the NNPP presidential candidate. I know he's a Muslim. He's a practicing Muslim. He picked a bishop.
Where is his vice presidential candidate?
He picked a bishop from the Pentecostal side of Nigerian Christianity, who is from Edo State, right?
Yeah.
Take Peter Obi, a Catholic from Anambra State. He picked Yakubu Dati, a Muslim from Kaduna. Then take Abubakar Atiku, a Muslim from Adamawa State, who picked a Christian from Delta State. Then take Bola Tinubu, a Muslim from Lagos, who picked a Muslim from Borno, Shetima. They are all picking their candidates based on their regional and religious
Remember, even
leanings.
The APC, there was a lot of noise. There is still a lot of noise about the choice of vice presidential candidate and all that. So now what they're saying is that the federal government should make August 20th every year as a public holiday for traditional religion adherents. Noting that it is still unfair that Muslims and Christians are given between 6 and 7 days of public holidays in a year without any consideration for traditional worshippers.
So it's high time we actually accorded everybody, their chance, because really and truly, it's everybody's country.
It is.
Then, on the flip side, my opinion is that we have too many holidays.
Yeah, I was going to say, so they should go shave off from every other person's zone and add it to
my
their
opinion.
Own. So you want us to add to the... I don't have a problem with giving them holidays. I have a problem with the fact that we have too many holidays. So maybe shave off some. Maybe take one day from each person's...
Let's look at this in depth.
And then give it to them. So at the end of the day, we still have the same number of holidays.
I don't know how the traditionalists function, but let's look at it.
But how do you want to put everybody under one umbrella?
I don't know how they... That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they function. But let's look at it. Let's quickly do a 2-minute in-depth look at traditionalists in Nigeria based on my own limited knowledge, because I can't claim I know it all. In Yoruba, there is the Ogun festival. I'm from Ondo Town. I know that the Ogun festival is a massive, massive thing in Ondo Town. Usually sometime around September, so August, September, people troop back home for the Ogun festival. It's huge. So if you're going to factor all the Ogun worshippers in, are you going to say that the festival in Ondo will cover all the Ogun festivals across Nigeria? Because there are Ogun worshippers in Oyo, in Ekiti,
especially in the southwest.
So when you take that, now put that aside, then there are other deities and the other traditional gods and demigods that people worship. And I'm not denigrating any. I'm just saying that if we're going to factor it in,
then
we're probably going to now do this, for people who worship Amadioha.
We're even forgetting
part of Nigeria.
that there are actually other religions.
Yeah.
That are not.
No, they are not speaking. So
Muslims,
let's talk about the ones that are speaking.
Traditional worshippers,
Let's talk about the ones that are speaking. So where we are now, the stage we're in now is.
Well, the truth is, everybody takes these holidays anyway.
But if you are now going to balance things, and the people who worship a particular god tell you that they're going to have 4 holidays in a year, you're going to have to order those 4 holidays for them.
Okay.
So it's either you're doing that, or you
scrap
scrap everything.
Everybody's holiday.
Or you now say
Let's
that
just have national holidays.
Or we now say that only during your own would you be allowed to go for your celebration.
Okay, so it doesn't become a national thing anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's move on from that. As the federal government has now announced that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is going to be finished by April 30th. They're saying that at least most of it, there is, I think, a 9-kilometer gap that is in Oyo State. That there's a drainage that is going to be done, that is being done, that has to be done before. But other than that, April 30th, the Lagos-Ibadan is going to be completed.
It's going to be commissioned.
I am.
So, for
a lot of us are looking forward to
for
the work to end.
Let me be honest with you guys. We are biased about the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway because it's barely 700 or 800 meters from where we sit now. Maximum, can't be more than 900 meters, right?
Yeah.
So guess what, guys? It's hellish living in a community that is experiencing this development. I'm not saying the development is wrong. I'm just saying that life has been hell for us trying to get into town and all of that. We are situated, on the fringe, in the border, by the border of Lagos and Ogun State.
I can't wait.
If they're going to do it in a month, it will be beautiful. One of our colleagues, DJ Bami, had to relocate completely. We have had to limit the number of guests that we bring through because of this so-called road construction.
I honestly and personally can't wait.
Affecting us a great deal. If they can pull it off this month, massive.
By all means.
But one of my things, I know you have a lot of infrastructure that you're going to talk about. There's another one that you want to talk about, right?
No, the second Niger Bridge is set to open officially by May 15th. Now, what they're saying is that, of course, we know that up from Christmas, I think during Christmas, the road itself is done. They're talking about inroads into it. That's why it has. But they're saying that hopefully it should be done and hopefully commissioned. I'm guessing President Buhari wants to commission these other places. This basically was when the Minister of Works and Housing was inspecting the finished work at the local Oweto Bridge and the other link roads and other bridges that link Benue and Nasarawa. They're saying that is 100% done, as well as a few other places. I'm sure that President Buhari is not going to let that one what's it called? Slide into another person's administration. Lie, if he was you, go.
He has a couple of legacy projects that he would definitely want to commission all by himself. There's the Ecom Bridge massive bridge that links more or less, like we're talking about linking two countries or two neighborhoods, you get, in Cross River State, that had a whole colonial bridge. And this government actually built a new one, you get. Now, local Oweto, for the people who understand, you're talking about linking Nasarawa and Benue and of course Abuja also and all of that. It is reported that it will cut off at least 100 kilometers of travel time or travel space. When you're talking about things like that, you must definitely be happy that this is happening. And if you are the person that built it, you want to be the one to launch it. But one of his biggest regrets will be the other work that they've done in the south part of Nigeria.
Regrets?
Yeah, because it's not going to be the one to commission one of those major projects. The one that links it, I think it's in Rivers State or so, that links a particular part of that state to the mainland for the first time ever in the history of their existence. This bridge that has about this construction, I think they have about 4 or 5 bridges that they are constructing at the same time.
It's not the Bonny.
It's the Bodo Bonny.
Bodo Bonny.
You get, but they're not going to be able to commission that. So whoever becomes president will be the one to
finish it.
It's done. It's almost done. There's nothing about finishing anymore. It's about commissioning.
You seem like you are not in Nigeria.
They can't stop that kind of project.
Okay. I hear you. Anyway, the federal government has now berated some Western countries, given credence to the indigenous people of Biafra as a terrorist organization. I think that basically what the Minister of Information is saying is that, okay, IPOB is, according to him, he said IPOB is a terrorist organization so declared by the Nigerian government, yet some Western countries harbor them and have been dealing with the illegal body. They allow them to raise funds. Some allow them to lobby their congressmen and lawmakers, and whatever fund they realize, they use it to destabilize the country.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Lai Mohammed, but I think this is actually right. The honest truth is, they're proscribed, and the same basket you used to carry the Boko Harams of this world, according to Nigerian government, is what IPOB is. Really?
Yeah, and there are things that we need to be careful about. We need to tread carefully when it comes to issues that have to do with perception and things that have to do with the Nigerian state or any state in particular. Most of the foreign bodies, when I say foreign bodies, I refer to the nations, foreign nations, they do things based on their own benefits, that what they're going to get, what will accrue to them eventually, you get. And if a country like America proscribes a group and says this group is a terrorist group, they pronounce the group, no other country is expected to have dealings with them.
Yeah.
So why is it different for any other country?
Any other country.
These are the issues. There's no way you're going to sit down and say that a group that has been proscribed and described as the 10th deadliest in the world is actually agitating. That's no agitation.
That's not agitation. See, it is agitation when there is a conversation. What are you agitating about? It is, last we checked, it is a crime in Nigeria, what you're trying to do. So it doesn't make any sense. And even if that's what you can even agitate for whatever it is you want to agitate. The fact that people are getting killed, people are losing businesses, all in the name of your so-called agitation. And I keep saying it all the time. My issue with this is that if you finish killing all the people in the southeast and you finish destroying the economy, if by some streak of luck you are given this Biafra, what is left to govern?
That's it. So even
if
in
people
your
there
agitation,
are in fear, they live in fear, they live in
your people must be protected. you protect yourself too.
You're not even protecting the people that you want to govern. What it's not even a matter of protection. You are the ones even inflicting pain on them. I don't get where that is coming from. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Now, according to the national, we said we're going to be throwing a bit of numbers around today. As according to the National Bureau of Statistics, they're saying that only 9 states and the Federal Capital Territory brought in foreign direct investments in the year 2022.
You're talking about 36?
Yes, and there are only 9.
Of 36 states in a country that boasts of so many natural and mineral resources, only 9 states were able to attract foreign direct investments. Now, you can excuse that for some people, talk about insecurity and all of that. But when you check the list of 9 states, you see that some of the countries that have one of the biggest security challenges were able to attract foreign direct investments. Yep. I think that,
and even the ones that don't even have, the ones that have said, what are the numbers?
We need to step up our engagement with the governors of the states. This is beyond the federal government now. There are 9 states of 36. You understand?
You need to even see those 9 states. There are some numbers that are almost deplorable.
Of the 9?
Of the 9. Lagos alone, I think, makes up, over 60%.
Yeah.
It's kind of understandable, yeah? But the when you compare what Lagos gets to every other of those states in, it's not wonderful. And that's the honest truth. It's not wonderful.
But again, I know I've said this before. I think you have too. I've said it. Your governors are not creative.
They're not.
They are living off grants. They wait for the monthly allocations.
Yeah.
Then they take out your salaries, recurrent expenditure, and
we're good.
And capital, investment and expenditure is 0 or not good enough. But there's proof that every state in Nigeria is viable to live on its own. Mm-hmm. There's natural resources. There's human resources. When are we really going to get creative?
And
there's a governor in the South. I'm not going to call his name. He talked a good game for 8 years. Talked about all the investments that he was going to make for 8 years. When he leaves, we're going to analyze and check if he actually pulled it off. What I'm trying to say in essence is that for you to talk a good game is because you know the opportunities are there. Mm-hmm. Governance needs to go beyond, he did 32 kilometers or 5 kilometers or 1 kilometer of roads. We need the road construction.
Yeah, but what has it done?
We're talking about creative, investments. The ability for a government to go to hubs in different parts of their states and put internet, connectivity and security and power. Mm-hmm. The ability for you to tap into the resources of your state. Sheyi Law, popular comedian, has been promoting his Ondo state for the last 1 week or so.
I think I saw a tweet from him yesterday about his swallow.
Yeah, Kukuru. Yeah. We're supposed to have it soon. Don't worry, it's going to happen at an event we're having very soon. And it's supposed to be better than virtually all the swallows that everybody's talking about.
I heard so.
But then there's a soup. In Ondo, it's called banana. There are different names for it. What I'm trying to say in essence is that there actually is a federal government parastatal, a platform that the federal government had created that will tell you how viable every state is. Mm-hmm. So, Sheyi promoting his Ondo is based on his knowledge and it's good. Now, the state government has reached out to him and he's going to go on a tour. He's been criticizing them. He's not a fan of the state governor at all. But he's been promoting the state, talking about things that people don't know. What I'm trying to point out in essence is that in Delta State, in Bauchi and Borno, in Kano and Kaduna, in Kebbi and Kogi, in Oyo, Anambra, Ebonyi, and every state in Nigeria, what have they done creatively? Oh yeah, you can build those airports. We're okay with that. But there are things in your state that your people can benefit from,
Immediately.
that will even make you forget about federal allocations. The reason why people are complaining about governance is because they're looking at their pockets. They are not making as much as they would want to make.
Yeah.
You need to be creative about governance. And when we do that, we realize that the federal government has never really been our problem.
Then
it's always been about
always
the
state
and the local governments.
Exactly. Now let's move on quickly from that. I wanted to. Okay, let's just move on from that. Anyway, now do people know that Elon Musk that we talked about yesterday, he has officially been toppled, and is no longer the richest man in the world. Just what I put out. Just what I put out. Anyway, and this one that I wanted to talk about is kind of sad, because every single time now, there's this conversation that keeps coming up every time with the Taliban, and they come up with all these sorts of decrees and all that. Now, the new decree now is that they are banning Afghan women, always the women, from working for the United Nations. So if I don't live in Afghanistan, I'm an Afghan woman, yeah? And I work at the UN. So because the Taliban said so now, I will not work there again. Are they going to feed them?
The Taliban
Brain is paining me.
Does not care about all of these things that you're talking about. The world has opened its eyes and allowed them do the things that they've done and they are doing. The Taliban, no send. Recently, we carried the story of how they shut down the all-women radio station.
Yeah.
Women are not allowed to do certain things. They're not allowed to go to certain schools. They can't study.
They're not allowed to go to school anymore now these days.
So, this is even the list in the long list of crimes that they are committing against humanity and women in particular. But guess what? Nobody's going to talk about it.
Nobody's saying anything.
The powerful nations, they're not talking about it. The question is why? Why are you not talking about this marginalization that women are being subjected to in Afghanistan and these other countries?
Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's do a bit of sports. Very interesting story coming from Saudi club Al Hilal, as and I think it was a Fabrizio Romano. He had actually put out a statement talking about how the Saudi club wants Lionel Messi for more than £400 million a year. And if he takes it, it's going to make him the highest paid athlete in history.
Well, Lionel Messi has had an amazing, and is still having an amazing career as a footballer and a person. Mm-hmm. And, Ronaldo's movement to Saudi Arabia had already triggered this potential movement.
Yeah, I think it did.
It's something that everybody had, a lot of people had said it could happen. Now, there are issues with him going back to Barcelona because Barcelona is going through some kind of crisis, and I'm not sure they can afford to bring him back. Yeah. PSG want to keep him, but
I'm not sure he wants to stay.
Yeah. How are they going to battle petrodollars, the real petrodollars from Saudi Arabia? You understand?
At the end of the day, it's already old. So
it's done. And he has won it all. He has won it all.
Just go and collect your money and be chilling. Collecting Arab money.
He has won it. He has won it all.
It's very, very interesting. Anyway, wanted to also put it out there as Arsenal player Bukayo Saka has actually put it out talking about Davido's album. He has actually endorsed Davido's album. I think that's actually a very nice thing. And talking about songs, somebody has used his would I call him misfortune to give us a banger.
Yeah. So first things first, a big shout out to Davido for the album. The success is looking very good.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The stats are amazing. You know, on Audio Mac Africa, you know, we talked about how it's gotten some massive streams in the first 24, then 72 hours. You know, there'll always be naysayers and whatever, but don't focus on that. But he has a massive album. So Bukayo Saka, who is one of the best players in the world at the moment, coming out to endorse this album shows you the reach and the penetration of this album by Davido. So shout out to him, and I'm glad that he has a good album. I saw his performance on one of this late night shows in America recently. I saw it last night, and I was extremely proud. He did 2 songs with the Outsiders and the composers, 2 songs back to back, Feel, and I can't remember the other one, but these are from the new album. Now, to the extremely interesting,
controversial
artist known as Portable,
Mr. Portable,
Omolalomi. You know, you get Igu. Now, whatever it is that you know or think about him, you like him, you hate him, you can't stand him. The man came out from lockup, you know, spent the weekend, you know, chilling and cooling his heels, and drops a banger. Like, I'm seriously calling that song a banger.
It's honestly, I'm not a huge fan of
Zazu.
I never liked his song.
Zazu was big because Olamide was on it. But you see this particular...
Truth be told, this one, maybe you should go to jail more often.
Auntie.
No, so that it will
Someone
help
cannot
his
play
creative
with
juices.
you.
I think this is the best song that he has ever had. Honestly, personally. I think this is actually the best song he's ever had.
Yeah, so he has a song. He's going to release it. He's dropped a snippet of it. And he say, he's not a prisoner, and government is bigger than anybody. DPO is bigger than this person, and blah, 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 blah. But no matter what you think about Portable, he knows how to milk attention and to work his audience. And it's really working for him. You might not think it's lettered or whatever, but it looks like someone that understands the entertainment industry better than some of the people that you hype.
Yeah. Anyway, I like the fact that, like you said, the fact that he is using whatever publicity he has. He's good at it. Hate him or love him, he likes what he does, and it's working for him. So this is me saying, go and listen to Portable's song.
Honestly.
I love that.
But before we leave that, I want to read something from Turntable Chats.
Okay.
This dropped about 50 minutes ago. And they said that Davido's Timeless has broken the record for the biggest debut week by any album on Boomplay Nigeria. The album has tallied over 22 million streams on that platform after 4 days of release, surpassing the previous record of 18.8 streams by Love Damini, which was from July 8th to July 14th, 2022. So Timeless has broken Love Damini record on Boomplay Nigeria.
Okay, on that note, that is all we have to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We will be back again tomorrow.
Peace.
At 3 p.m. West African time. Do have a beautiful day ahead.